Welcome back to the Bro Country Podcast. My name is Joey, and as always, I'm joined by...
Hey man, it's Chris over here. What's going on tonight, Joey?
Not a whole lot, man. Just hanging out. Another day, another dollar, they say, right?
That's right. That's right. Another day in listening to country music.
Amen, man. What have you been listening to lately?
Oh man, I've been all over the board, but I feel like Kelsey's new single, Kelsey Ballerini's new single, "Half of My Hometown." That's with Kenny singing a little bit of background vocals on that. That's probably my favorite Kenny or Kelsey song since the very beginning of Kelsey. It's kind of like just stuck in my head like crazy. I'm really liking "I'm Not For Everyone" by Brothers Osborne, their new single.
That's a
I'm
good
really
one.
loving that. And I'm still stuck on "Getting Over Him" by Lauren Elena and John Party. What about you?
Man, I've been kind of all over the board. Earlier today, I was listening to Sinners Like Me.
There you go.
Had some random Clay Walker hits going. Country Squire, Tyler Childers.
There you go.
Sprinkled in with some Heart and Soul. I've been kind of all over the place, man.
That's right.
Cool. Pretty diverse playlist here lately, but speaking of Clay Walker, I think we can jump into the news segment because we had some cool stuff happen this week.
We did.
We surpassed 3,000 followers on TikTok, so that was pretty cool.
That's wild, man. I
know,
remember
I'm
not
like-
that long ago you were excited about 1,000, so think about
Yeah,
that.
it's crazy, man. It's fun putting out those little videos and getting people to follow us and check us out. So, but speaking of, I did a video. I made like a little reel of some of our favorite songs from '93, and there was a Clay Walker song involved in that video, and he actually commented on the video with like a cowboy hat emoji and a thumbs up or something like that. It's pretty cool.
He's all over social media, isn't he?
Dude, yeah, he's super interactive, and he duets people all the time, comments their stuff, and replies to them, and he's super interactive.
That's cool, man. That's all. Him and Tracy Lawrence are doing 5 or 6 shows together this summer, but I don't think they're coming anywhere close to us. But I wish they were.
Yeah, he's doing a show with Randall King in Texas, I want to say.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's Texas.
Randall King, we're both going to see him coming up.
Yeah, he's coming to your state fair, county fair.
He's coming to one of the big county fair, probably about 25, 30 minutes away from us.
Gosh, that's awesome. Yeah,
It is.
the wife and I are going to go see him near Nashville in July, so I'm stoked for that. That'll be my first time seeing Randall.
That's awesome, man.
Hell yeah, but there wasn't a whole lot of news this week, just a bunch of tours that were announced, which is freaking awesome because we've been
Yeah, absolutely, man.
complaining and depressed about not having live music for the past year and some odd months, so it's been good news this week.
Yeah, I guess the Friday and Saturday Jason Aldean shows down below Nashville went off without a hitch, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, at the Bonnaroo Farm,
Yep.
which unfortunately we didn't get to go, obviously, but I did live stream it, and I know you watched some of it too. It looked like a good show Saturday night.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He was cranking out all the
Aldean
hits.
he always puts on a good show.
Yeah.
He's always fun live.
And there toward the end, it was weird because they had everybody separated in those pods that looked like bicycle racks that were like separating everybody.
Yeah.
And toward the end, I can't remember what he was singing, but it was like one of the last 2 songs, I think. He like jumped down in the crowd and was ripping those barriers apart and walking through them and getting everybody high fives and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool, man.
I'm like,
He's ready to go.
Yeah. He was like, I wish we could take these bike racks and just throw them away, and you guys be up here against the stage. But I'll tell you what, in August that's gonna happen. And then he I don't know, I don't think he said it all together, but he like led up to the tour and then announced the tour at the show. So that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and he's actually coming to the main venue near you and to my big arena. So
Yeah.
he's coming to both our hometowns.
Heck yeah, Back in the Saddle tour, right?
That's right. Who's
Heck yeah.
he got opening for him?
Hardy and Lainey Wilson, and then there are a couple shows where Hardy's not opening, and it's to be announced, I believe. Last time I checked.
And that one of those is your show, right?
Yeah, the Cincinnati show at Riverbend is actually, I got tickets for it. My buddy and I are going to go. And yeah, Hardy is not on the lineup for that night. It's TBA, so I'm anxious to see who that is.
He'll get somebody.
Morgan Wallen.
He'll get somebody good.
No, Morgan's too big to open now.
Yeah,
Co-headlining show at Riverbend, that'd be sweet.
that's right.
Probably not going to happen though.
What other shows do you have tickets to coming up there, Joey?
Grabbed some of the Ashley McBride's tour she just announced, actually. Somehow I got through on the City Card member pre-sale. I don't have a City Card, but I don't know if they just opened it up to the public on Ticketmaster today or there was a glitch or something, but they don't officially go on sale to the public until Friday. But I somehow got to the small little venue down in Cincinnati at Bogart's. It's
That's right, man.
Super small theater. Like, really, like, it does not hold that many people at all, and it's pretty much all standing room only.
That's awesome. Yeah, you tipped me off, so I got a couple too. So we'll probably head up that way with you. We'll probably be there. Yeah, I think it's Labor Day weekend. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and it's a real. We saw Dylan Scott there a few years ago, I think, and I mean we were like right 2 or 3 rows back, probably. It was crazy.
Oh, and Priscilla Block's opening for that night.
Yep, Priscilla's opening. I gotta get my the wife and I a couple of those block party hats that she's selling.
That's right, man. For a small little venue, that's gonna be a fun night.
Yeah, tickets were affordable as could be too, like $25-$26 or something like that plus fees. I can't
beat that.
Nah, I was like, that's gonna be a great show with Priscilla and Ashley. Can't beat that price.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And then Blake Shelton announced a tour. I didn't see who was opening though. Did you catch that?
I did. He's the last 2 or 3 tours that Blake has done. I got to give him credit, man. He brings back some of the old oldies but goodies. I mean, him and Trace Atkins are like best friends. So Trace tours with him a lot, but he's gonna have Martina McBride with him on about half of these shows.
Shoo-wee.
Yeah, Martina's gonna open for him, and oh gosh, there was 1 or 2 other people. There was a bunch of people that he announced. He always kind of just like has random people open for him. So we saw Blake the Country Superfest in Columbus 2 years ago. 3 years ago. We saw George Strait, and Blake opened for him, and it was at the Ohio State Stadium, and Blake was pretty awesome. But I haven't seen Blake that much. I think that might be one of, if not the only times I've seen Blake.
You know, I'll be honest, man. I've never seen Blake live.
Really? I mean, he puts on an awesome show. I mean, you know, old Rhett and Austin, and some of that early stuff that everybody loves, and then all the new hits. I mean, he puts on a good show. Yeah, man. We were gonna go see him back in like 2013 when he came to Cincinnati, and that was back when I worked in retail, I believe, and we just couldn't make it happen with my work schedule at the time. But yeah.
My brother went with his buddy or girlfriend at the time or something and was sending me like Snapchat videos. So it looked like a heck of a time, but
yeah, he's fun. But he's not coming to Cincinnati or to Charleston, so
no.
I'm not sure probably won't be able to catch that.
Yeah, I won't stress that too bad, but
yeah,
I like Blake though.
Yeah,
but it was a good feeling looking at my Ticketmaster account today and seeing like 5 shows in the lineup.
Yeah, because you got 2 or 3 Erics, you got 1 or 2 Luke shows coming up.
Yeah, I've got Aldine. Well, Randall King isn't in Ticketmaster, I got those through Eventbrite, but I've got those. Jason Aldean, Ashley McBride, Eric Church, and Luke Combs in Chicago.
Oh man!
And probably, I'm sure, a couple small ones sprinkled in here and there.
I just hope it happens, man. I just hope they all happen.
I'm hopeful for the ones in Ohio at least, because all our whatever you call them health mandates are getting lifted June 2nd.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So no masks, no social distancing. Things can go back to full capacity, which I know a lot of people are worried about that, and I completely respect and understand that. Because coronavirus was definitely and is definitely a very serious virus to get, but I think that businesses are ready to get back rocking and rolling, and I think all the people that shop at those businesses or frequent those businesses and arenas and events are ready to get back to normal. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's through the summer at least, it's mostly going to be outdoor shows, and these venues, they've had a long time now to figure out the best way to put these shows on, and they all seem really confident that this is going to happen. So
yeah,
and I think unless something just completely unforeseen happens, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, in Cincinnati, they did this thing called, I forget what the acronym stands for. It's called DORA. It's like drinks outside, something. They did it for opening day down at the Cincinnati Reds. Like they call it the Banks. It's like a bunch of bars and restaurants right by the stadium.
Yeah. And
they didn't have like a major spike in cases or anything, so that was good to hear. And Great American Ballpark, the Red Stadium, they're actually, from what I saw on their Facebook, they're going back full capacity like June 2nd, like the first day they're able to.
Oh, that's
So hopefully it works out and cases don't rise and people stay healthy and safe, and that means we're one step closer to full arenas again with concerts. So
that's right.
But yeah, man, that being said, Alan Jackson has spoken out with this new album that he dropped.
He has. Speaking of, I mean, what it's got
21 songs.
21 or 22
songs.
22
actually, isn't it? 21, 22.
Yeah. And I've given it one or two go throughs. It is as traditional of country music as he's ever put out, and that says something, because Alan is about as traditional as you can possibly get, and it is a very, very strong album. Very strong album.
Dude, it's incredible. If you guys haven't checked that out, go listen to it. It is country gold, honestly.
It is. It really is. I mean, back to back weeks, Travis Tritt and Alan Jackson put out new albums that they both got a lot of publicity, and I think Travis's album debuted at number 4 on the charts this week. I'm sure this Alan record's going to debut high. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's
pretty
cool to see.
It's crazy to be in 2021 and seeing Travis Tritt, Alan Jackson, and Clay Walker still putting out new music that's quality, good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Not that I would expect anything less from those three, but I'm just saying, like, it's just crazy to think that after the tenure of their careers, they're still putting out just amazing music.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just says a lot about country music. I mean, country, a lot of genres of music are just kind of like flash in the pan, one-hit wonder kind of stuff. In country music, once the fans love you, they're going to love you forever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Diehards.
Absolutely, man.
But yeah, I mean, there's been a ton of interviews and stuff that he's done talking about how country's gone, and he's kind of pissed off about the state of country music, and that's no secret. I mean, he's kind of talked about that for a while, but this album was just kind of a statement. I think we've even talked about a couple of songs when he released those few. Was that last month, I believe? Yeah,
one of them is Where Have You Gone, which I think might be the title track to the record.
Yeah,
I mean, he's gotten some publicity this week, y'all, and I almost think that maybe he says this kind of stuff in the interviews so that he will get publicity, because he's I mean, him and George recorded Murder on Music Row probably 20 or 25 years ago. So he's kind of been saying this same thing for a long time. I mean, one of the interviews that I saw, he said, quote, "Country music is gone and it's not coming back. It's like the 1980s again. I'm a 62-year-old. I'm not some 30-year-old stud. It's not the same, but somebody has to bring it back, because it's not just people in their 50s. People all the way down into their teens and 20s are craving country music." That article was on tasteofcountry.com. And, I mean, we could get into that, but I mean, that's just, for one thing, he deserves to have his opinion, because if there's somebody that is an expert on traditional country music, it's Alan Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. I would almost disagree with that completely. I don't completely disagree, but I slightly disagree with that. I think we've got some guys and gals that are, even in the mainstream, that are more traditional now than it was in 2010 or 12 or 2013 or 14.
Yeah, I mean, that I agree with you there. I mean, if you look at what was happening in 12, 13, 14, 15, I would probably agree with what he was saying, but I think it's definitely swung back the other way a little bit.
And you can find a ton of really good country music. It just may not be on country radio, and I think he's kind of more leaning towards the stuff that's on country radio. And I won't throw any artist names out there that he's probably referring to, but you guys can probably assume who he's talking about.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, speaking of guys and gals that aren't, what he's talking about, I mean, John Party, Luke Combs, Riley Green.
Yeah.
You've got some guys.
Cody Johnson.
Ashley
McBride. I mean,
Randall King is up and coming, but I mean, he's as country as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Childers. I think also part of it's just, new music is made by young people for young people. Yeah. And once you're to a certain age, that's the music that you love, and you can't fault him for that,
No, not at all. And then when you listen to the album he just put out, that is country music, no question.
I mean, it's as country as it gets, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan's a legend. We love him.
Absolutely.
Love the new project. You guys need to go check that out. But anyways, Chris, what do the charts look like, man? I don't think we've talked about the charts in a couple weeks, so go ahead and hit us with some facts.
Let's see, man. Number one album this week is Morgan again. I think it's his 12th or 13th week at number one on the country album chart. The number one hot single this week is Forever After All. Just
Nice.
Absolutely zooming up the radio chart, too. It's already up to number 3. It
saw
feels like
that.
it just became a radio single like 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think
you
Hell
know,
of a
some
View
radio
is it.
singles.
Oh, go ahead.
It's at number 2 or 3. The number one song this week is "Breaking Up Was Easy in the '90s" by Sam Hunt, which I think is his third or fourth number one off this second record. And but I mean, even that song, and Sam is a a star. I mean, he's probably a second level star right now. But I mean, that probably took 30 or 35 weeks to reach number one. And
Yeah.
I mean, Better Together was just number one about 8 or 9 weeks ago, and Forever After All is going to be number one again probably in 2 weeks. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
What is that? That's going to be 12 for Luke?
It'll be 11. It'll be
11.
his 11th. Yeah.
God, dude, everything he sends to radio just flies up.
I know, man. And, I mean, based on everything that he has said recently, we are not getting another single from this album. So
Holy smokes.
I think we need to be prepared for the lead single from album number 3. So it's gonna be a fun second half of the year for Luke fans, I think.
The prequel part 2.
I mean, with as many songs as he's played, I mean he could put out a 10-song project right now just of songs that he has performed that are not released yet.
Oh, I know. And I mean, imagine how much time he's had to write just being quarantined at home this past year or so.
Oh, I know, man.
Couldn't imagine what he's got in the arsenal that he's about to drop on us.
Yeah, and Luke he's one of the only artists that, I mean, he postponed his tour from last year, so he hasn't had to announce any new dates. So I think he's got.
There's a few new dates, I think, but it was just
Is there
like
a few new dates? Yeah.
like the show we're going to, I think, was going to be a different date, but it got moved like forward a day or something. Like it was not a big deal. I think it's just because it fell on a weekend last year, and then it was going to be like a weekday, and I can't remember, but no big major changes that I'm aware of.
But I think that's probably like Chicago and New York. I think that's the end of the tour. So what our Chicago shows what, first week of November, something like that.
Yeah, 11/5.
Yeah, so I would say that the end of this tour is kind of going to be the end of this kind of cycle
Era.
for Luke. Yeah, era of Luke. Yeah, it'll be cool to see these shows coming up because there's a good chance he's gonna drop a couple of these unreleased songs in the set list.
Yeah, and the stuff he's been playing unreleased is super country too.
Absolutely,
Like
man.
storytelling, good music, like just awesome lyrics. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
I think it's going to be a lot different than what he's put out. I mean, not a lot different because it's Luke, but I think it's going to be quite a bit different than the last 2 projects.
Yeah,
But we'll see. Either way, it's Luke. We love Luke. You all know we love Luke, so we're ready for it.
That's right.
But I don't even think we've told the listeners what we're going to be talking about. We had to impromptu change our plans. We were going to have Mr. Sam Kuhn on tonight for a Q&A interview like we do. But due to some last-minute scheduling conflicts, we had to reschedule for hopefully next week. So, everything's good with everybody, but Sam just had to take tonight off to take care of some other things. So we'll hope to have him on next week. But we decided to go ahead and still give you guys an episode, and we're going to be talking about Thomas Rhett's latest album, Country Again, Side A, which is the first part of the double album that he's got.
Absolutely, man. This is probably other than obviously Morgan and Eric's double album. This is probably the next biggest release that we've had so far this year.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's really good. Thomas has had just an interesting career overall. I mean, being the son of Rhett Akins and coming into country music and crushing it kind of from the beginning. His style has changed so much, and now he's reverting back to the country sound versus the more poppier country sound that he was, doing for quite a while. And I love this project, man. I thought so far, I mean, I haven't heard the second album of it yet, but I don't know, man. It's good. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think as a full project, not a full project because we're probably going to get another 11 or 12 songs later in the year, but I feel like it's probably as good as anything that he's put out, really.
Yeah, it takes me back to 2013, kind of, where he put out "It Goes Like This,"
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
you've
man.
you've got songs like "Beer with Jesus," "It Goes Like This," "Make Me Wanna," those types of songs, just more country sounding songs. And I mean, Thomas has a rabid fan base. I mean, he sells out shows. People have stuck with him over the years, regardless of what he's put out. Because even his more popular country sounding stuff isn't bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You've got "Life Changes" was an awesome song.
Yep.
Great, it was a good album. I mean, the whole album was great, I thought. And he's got the love songs and stuff like that. But he really wanted to make a statement with this album that he's taken time to reflect, and I think it's just a growing album for him. That he is kind of just going back to his roots and trying to put out more traditional stuff and just being more country. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I read an article that said that all he was trying to do on this album was to be the best songwriter that he could be. It's definitely a songwriting project. I feel like probably 9 of the 11 or 10 of the 11 songs are just kind of acoustic storytelling songs. There's one or two on the back end of the album that's a little poppier, but for the most part, it's a pretty stripped down for Thomas. Kind of project, which if you're going to name an album country again, then it better be pretty country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's only maybe like one song on here that wasn't super country, and it was that collab with Hardy, which it's had mixed opinions. I've seen some people really liked it, and some people didn't like that.
Yeah,
I wasn't a huge fan of it. It didn't seem to really fit the overall theme of what he was going for on this project. But it wasn't it's not the worst song I've ever heard, and I like Hardy. I like Thomas Rhett.
yeah, I agree with you. I'm thinking though that it probably could grow on me because it's so different than the rest of this record. It would not surprise me if it's a single though. Just
It's
because
definitely single material.
Yeah, exactly. It almost feels like the only reason to put it on this album is for like kind of a late summer radio single. After country again.
I could see that for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy because Thomas just turned 31, and this is his 5th album, and 2 or 3 of the albums had deluxe releases. So he has been releasing music since he was like 21, 22 years old in the mainstream.
In the mainstream, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And like I said, good stuff. Building like a rabid fan base from 21 years old till now, and just putting out quality music that people have stuck around and listened to over the years. It's pretty impressive, really.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas is for sure, a headliner. He has had 2 or 3 of the biggest songs of the last decade. I mean, Die a Happy Man is probably the biggest song that he had. I think it won Song Single of the Year at the CMAs and the ACMs.
Yeah.
He's won. He tied last year with Carrie for Entertainer of the Year. He's won male vocalist a couple times. I mean, he's definitely established himself in that upper echelon of this next group that's coming through country music.
Yeah, most definitely. And Die a Happy Man, I'm looking right now on Spotify. It's got 409,342,712 streams just on Spotify alone.
That's wild, isn't it?
This is obviously his most popular song, like you mentioned, but that's insane. That's a ton of streams.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, he definitely was. I think like I said, he's trying to make a statement with this album. I mean, the title track, "Country Again," it comes off kind of checklisty. I'm not gonna lie. He's checking the boxes of being country, but it fits well, and it was well written, and it's telling a story about just him rediscovering himself.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a ton of just references, like the opening of the song. I quit hunting with my daddy, guess I didn't make the time, and it's been a year since I've seen a deer, had a smallmouth on the line. The other day I hooked a monster, and as I reeled him in, I thought, man, it feels good to be country again. Just
That's awesome.
A fun play on the country lifestyle and how he hasn't done it in a long time, but then he was back at it. And then I forget the exact lyrics, but the part where he talks about getting his boots out of the closet and he hasn't taken them off since or whatever, and cracked some cold ones with his buddies and cranked Eric Church up to 10.
That's right, man. He drops Eric's name a couple times on this project.
Yeah, he does. Well, and I think I want to say he's always kind of talked about Eric being an influence of his and being a huge church fan too over the years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say Thomas probably gets lumped in with the bro country era a little bit, but he's really not bro country. I mean, it's he's been married to Lauren almost this whole time. He doesn't really have a lot of this is a weird word, but like smarmy kind of music. Like it's, I mean, he's got he's had a lot of pop singles.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily call him bro country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not just all about tailgates and truck beds and beer and women and it's not like that.
Yeah.
Definitely poppy. Yeah. I would say more pop country than bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's a fine line between bro country and pop country, and people kind of just fuse them together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But I think there's a little bit of a difference there. And you're talking bro country, you're talking, Luke Bryan in 2013, 14, 15, 16,
yeah,
17.
Florida Georgia
Florida
Line.
Georgia Line. Sam Hunt, I would say, is probably a bro. And here we are talking about bro country on the Bro Country podcast, but not because we only listen to bro country. It's because we're two bros talking about country music.
That's right.
I think the title of the podcast throws people off. They're like, "Oh, Bro Country Podcast. Oh God, they don't know who Waylon Jennings is. What? They don't know Johnny Cash." No, I'm just kidding.
We're about to spit some Waylon knowledge on the listeners here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll be covering Waylon here. Well, if we'll probably have Sam on next week if the scheduling works out, and then Waylon after that. So it should be fun. But,
that'll be fun.
Anyways, so I mean, this is a good statement project for Thomas. I think it was awesome. I'm excited to see. I mean, the sales weren't that great, man, but I'm excited to see what this does for him, going forward, and the way it kind of morphs his style again going forward.
I mean, like you said, the sales, the album debuted at number 2 on the country chart, which, it was competing, obviously, with Morgan and Luke and these guys. And it's only got 11 songs on it. We'll talk about the marketing of that and what our opinions are here about that here in a minute. But, I mean, when you're competing against a superstar like Morgan's album that has 30 songs on it, and you release a project that has 11 songs on it, you're probably not expecting to take the number 1 spot on the country album chart that week. I think it did 46 equivalent units the first week, which is not bad, but probably not as good as you would expect a format superstar like Thomas to do.
Yeah.
But, once you get as far into Thomas's career as he is, people are kind of just they've kind of already formed their opinion of you, and this is kind of his chance to maybe try to change that opinion a little bit. So it may have rubbed some of the people not necessarily the wrong way, because I don't think any of this music would rub anybody the wrong way, but it might not be what some people were expecting from Thomas.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you, and I think that I think you're exactly right. That's exactly how I feel about it, and I think that it's different than what he's been putting out for the past, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years or so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite a bit different, and he's kind of built that fan base around the more upbeat, poppier type of stuff, and that's totally fine. People enjoy that stuff. I enjoy a lot of those songs, but it's just what he wanted to put out. It was kind of like let me put out this double album. We're gonna put 11 songs on it. It's gonna be as country as I can make it. Boom. I don't care if it sells a ton of units. I just want to put out what I want to put out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the record already had a huge number 1 record on it before it came out with What's Your Country Song. And Country Again is the second single. It's flying up the radio chart. So, I mean, Thomas is always going to, sell out big shows, and he's going to continue to have huge radio hits, which, that's really, as far as keeping yourself at the top of the game, those are probably the 2 most important things, is can you sell out shows, and are you continuing to have big radio hits? And he's definitely doing that.
Yeah, most definitely, man. So, I mean, out of 10, man, what would you rank this album?
Oh, gosh. I would probably give it like a 7.5, probably. 7.5 to 8. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that's a strong rating. I was going to give it a 7 out of 10 myself, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think we can go ahead and rank our top 5 out of 11. What do you say?
Let's do it, man.
All right, so for those of you that may be new here, what Chris and I do when we talk about a new album or an artist and a certain album or an artist in general, we like to rank our top 5 to 10 songs depending on how big the project is. And we usually start at 5, go to 1. So I'll go ahead and kick it off. At number 5, I've got To the Guys That Date My Girls.
That's a good one, isn't it?
It's a good song, yeah. And
It is.
I think I saw a video of him singing that live at a show, maybe. I might be crazy right now, but I'm pretty sure I heard him sing that unreleased at a show, like a video went viral, or maybe he did it acoustically. I can't remember, but it's a really good song. What'd you have at number 5, man?
Number 5, I've got one of the pre-release tracks, "Want It Again."
Nice, that's a good one.
Yeah, I really, most of, like, for people that I love, I don't like the pre-release tracks because I want the whole album. But somebody like Thomas that I like and I have followed his career, but I would not consider Thomas, probably one of my, 3 or 4 favorite acts. Mm-hmm. I don't mind the pre-release tracks because it's like, oh, okay, there's a new song from Thomas. Let me check that out this week, and then I listen, and then I get to listen to that one song a couple times. And this song, "Want It Again," definitely has grown on me because I got to listen to it a lot, kind of by itself there for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Most definitely, man. Number 4, I've got "Growing Up."
Growing Up, that's a good one.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
I really like that one, man. What about you at number 4?
Number 4, I've got the lead single, "What's Your Country Song."
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like the acoustic version probably better than the studio version, but it's a kind of a country anthem that I'm sure will be one of the best songs live in his show. Yeah. I would think. Yeah.
God, I haven't seen Thomas live since he was an opening act. Is that horrible? I have not seen him headline.
If we can get cheap tickets this summer, we might catch him.
We might hit him up at Riverbend.
He's probably got the best, maybe the best lineup out there this year. Yeah. He's got Gabby opening for him.
Yeah, Gabby Barrett.
That's pretty wild. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Like, she's the third act. She's the first act. So I'm sure they locked that in probably before the pandemic or at the beginning of the pandemic, because I read Parker McCollum is the third act for Dirks, and he said that they had signed those contracts at the start of the pandemic, and that he just wanted to go ahead and honor it, and that he had been offered middle spots on a tour, and he just wanted to go ahead and honor that and live up to his word. So I'm guessing that they booked Gabby to open for Thomas, maybe before I Hope was even as big of a smash as it was.
Oh yeah.
But that's a pretty, and then Cole Swindell is the middle act, so that's a pretty good lineup.
Solid.
Yeah,
three
really
great artists. Might be one worth getting some tickets to, man.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's right.
But yeah, number 3, I've got Where We Grew Up.
Well, that's a good one.
So yeah, it's a fun one.
I've got number 3, You Heard.
You Heard, nice.
The last track on the album there.
That one's really good, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
Didn't make my list, but that was a really good one. I didn't even think about that one.
It's a good one.
But number 2, man, I've got the tearjerker of the album, Heaven Right Now.
Oh, shocker there.
I know.
I was not expecting you to have that at number 2.
I almost had it at number 1, man. That one, I did not know what to expect when I first heard it, man. It just hit me right in the chest because he says a line about, God, when I hear Eric Church sing "Sinners Like Me," I crank it up real loud. I wonder what you're doing in heaven right now.
Yeah.
And Sinners, like, for those that don't know, I lost my father last December, and we played "Sinners Like Me" at his funeral. And dude, when I heard that, it was just like my eyes started to water. I was like, oh my God. And I don't know, it just like really hit me in the chest. And I mean, it's a song that he had written for him and his wife's friend that had passed away a ways back, I believe, if I remember the story right. And at the end of the song, they talk about how they still wear his bracelet out or whatever, and it's just like super emotional and such a well-written song, and it's one of his best, in my opinion, that he's ever put out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with everything you said there.
Absolutely, brother. What do you have at number 2?
Number 2, I have got Growing Up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like he really probably should have named this record Growing Up instead of Country Again. Because
Yeah.
to me, it really is about him becoming a man and growing up and making more mature music,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
100%.
it's definitely one of my favorites that he's ever done.
Most definitely, man.
What,
Man, number one.
what do you got at number one there,
Number
Joe?
one. This is gonna be a shocker, probably. Just because it is the statement track, I've got Country Again at number one.
You love that one.
Yeah, I would put Heaven Right Now at number one, but I was like, I don't want the sad one to be my number one. So I went with Country Again for obvious reasons. It's, as we've said a couple times tonight, Thomas Rhett making a statement talking about giving up that city lifestyle in L.A., going back to Tennessee and his roots in Georgia, I believe is what he says. And
Yep.
yeah, it's just super country, and him just admitting, hey, I changed up to do this for a little bit, but now I'm going to go back to who I really am. And I think that takes a big person to be able to do that and make that statement through music. So, number one.
I did not have that one in my top five, but I very easily could have, because I love that record, and it's a pretty it's definitely different than any of the other radio singles that he's ever put out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of, though, what'd you have at number one?
Number one, I've got what you had at number two, Heaven Right Now.
Heaven Right Now.
It's a powerful song, and I think there's a good chance that it's gonna be on my year-end chart. I think.
Yeah. It
it's
may be
freaking
one
killer.
of the best country songs I've ever heard, man.
Yeah, it's really good, man.
It's so good, but yeah. So that was a solid top five. I mean, there's only 11 tracks on this part of the project, so we'll have to do the other project, or the other half of the project, when it comes out, and rank a top five off that. Usually we wait until both pieces are out and we kind of talk about the full thing, but we figure we'd go ahead and knock this one out tonight and talk about it.
He hasn't released any details about the second part, so it's hard to tell when we're going to see it. I would expect probably November, December, somewhere in that range.
That's what I'm thinking, because he said later in the year from what I read online a month or two ago, but who knows, man?
That's right.
Maybe we'll get it in August.
You never know.
We'll see. Maybe July. Sometime this year.
That's right.
Maybe we'll get a couple Luke singles in between now and then.
I hope, man.
Golly. But anyways, man, that wraps up Country Again Side A. You got any final thoughts on it?
It's he's I think he's definitely made a turn for the I don't want to say for the better, but just for the more mature countryside of, Thomas he grew up in Nashville. His dad is Nashville royalty.
Yeah.
And he's got a great voice. He's a great songwriter. He can do whatever he wants. So I'm just glad that he took this direction.
Yeah. I mean, and speaking of his dad, he's kind of just made a name and a career for himself too. You know what I mean? It's not like he
absolutely.
really lived off his dad's name necessarily. I think he's a very talented writer, a very talented artist. He has a great voice. He's an awesome performer. And I think, he may have been blessed with the genes of his father and having some connections maybe, but I mean, overall he's an amazing artist and performer and deserves everything he's got. So,
absolutely, man. He's definitely one of the I don't know. What do you think? Definitely one of probably the five biggest artists that's came out new in the last 8 to 10 years.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
I would say top five in the last 8 to 10 years for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think.
You've got
Luke, Morgan, Sam, Thomas, and before then you got to go back to Luke, Bryan, and Aldine, really.
Yeah. So over the past 10, 15 years, you've got Thomas Rhett. Well, we'll go back a little bit. Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, Thomas Rhett, Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Sam Hunt.
Yeah, Stapleton, but he's kind of different.
Yeah, Stapleton's a little different style, obviously, more traditional. Yeah. But, Stapleton's obviously a powerhouse in the last decade as well. And, yeah. Church has always been around. He's always been up there. But Rhett is definitely in that conversation. He's nominated for awards all the time. He wins awards. Yeah. He's definitely not like a middle act by any means. He's one of the top guys right now. So
he really is. And this album cements him,
Yeah. I love it, man. I'm here for it. I hope he keeps it up, and I would still listen to whatever he puts out just because I am a fan of his. I'm not kind of like you. I'm not a super fan of Thomas, but I do enjoy most everything that he puts out, whether it's poppy or not. And I just hope he sticks to this country sound because it really takes me back to when I first discovered his music, and I just really enjoyed that Thomas Rhett. So
I agree, man.
But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up this week, man. I don't have anything else. You got anything else you want to throw out to the listeners tonight?
I think we're good.
I think they need to go follow us on social media, though. Go check us out. We're everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just search Bro Country Pod. You'll find us. Check us out on there and let us know what you think. Give us some comments. Let us know about any upcoming content you guys would like to hear about. I would definitely appreciate you guys listening in. And as always, until next time, keep it country and take care of each other.